So I was out of town, Deep Throat Donny decided it'd be a good idea to distract from the fact that he blew Bubba and diddled kids by attacking the Minnesota Somali community. He texted out on Timu Twitter that he's ending temporary protected status for Somali immigrants, specifically from my state of Minnesota. And I gotta say, our attitude towards it up here is fuck around and find out, you cum-guzzling kumquat. Winter's here and the salt trucks are ready, so if we need to get rid of a little extra ice, I guess we can do that. Now, for everybody who needs a little context on this, temporary protection status protects certain immigrants who don't have, like, regular legal immigration status from being deported to a place that is too dangerous to go back to. Usually places like war zones where people have fled because their life was in danger, they were in fear of persecution, and if they go back, they will likely be killed. And Minnesota has the largest population of Somali immigrants in the country. The Somali community has long been an integral part of the community and culture here in Minnesota, especially in the Twin Cities. These communities have been responsible for revitalizing certain neighborhoods, starting businesses, being politically involved. They add to Minnesota's rich tapestry of art and culture, and have all around been an incredible and important asset, as most immigrant populations are, to our state and country's communities. Now, all of those qualities are irrelevant, though, to the Cheeto in chief because they happen to be both black and Muslim. And Blowy Benito really hates Minnesota because we are better than him in every single conceivable way and have the balls to stand up to him and tell him to fuck all the way off. So he's been looking for ways to attack us, because that's all this is demonizing a minority community in a state he has a grudge against and setting up the justification for these people to be attacked and for him to be able to send in forces to our state and our communities. It is absolutely no different than claiming without evidence that Venezuelan MS-13 gangs are eating the cats and dogs or whatever in Colorado. There's no rampant Somali gang violence. Minnesota consistently ranks as one of the safest states in the country. While a small handful of people of Somali descent were implicated in defrauding a COVID-era food program, they're being charged and facing accountability in a court of law, as they should be, and they do not represent their entire community any more than apparently all Republicans being child rapists represent every straight white dude. Here's the thing is, first off, the temporary protection status is outside of the president's authority to revoke. That's under Department of Homeland Security's purview, although not that I hold out much hope for cosplay Cruella DeVille keeping them safe. But even if it was, and even if it does get revoked, it practically and statistically serves no purpose. There are between 150 and 300,000 Somali people living in the United States. 87,000 of them live right here in Minnesota, and only 705 of them nationwide are under temporary protection status. Since he's illegally trying to apply this only to Minnesota, which he can't do, either everybody has it in the country or nobody has, that's the whole point of it being fucking federal, that means that the revocation of this protected status would only affect a few hundred immigrants in a population of 87,000. So even if all the claims are true and that there's rampant problems with these communities, which there's not, it's total bullshit, but even if they were true, what would deporting 0.5% of that population achieve? Not a goddamn thing. It's not about actually achieving anything statistical or practical. It is a tactic of terrorism, because that's how the terrorist Tangerine tries to run his regime. See, this is just an excuse to try to send the Gestapo and likely the National Guard into Minnesota communities. This is a tactic to try to breed fear, hatred, and xenophobia towards communities in our state. This is a tactic to try to breed hate, harassment, and violence against lawfully residing and productive members of our communities simply because of the country that they are from. This is already an issue that these poor communities have had to deal with for decades. This is putting real people's lives and well-being at greater risk than it already was, and that is the fucking point. And those disgusting human skin suits full of hypocrisy and Donald Trump's cum, like Pete Stauber and Tom Emmer, are lauding this on. You know, it's funny, Tom and Pete, I was just in D.C. at your office and you weren't there, but you know who was? Ilhan Omar. Almost like the Somali community is maybe harder working and more productive than you are, and they seem to be law-abiding citizens who aren't out here protecting fucking pedophiles. So maybe we should get rid of you motherfuckers instead. And the Somali community has brought us amazing, delicious food. What have you given us, Tom? Embarrassment. That is the only thing you've ever provided the great state of Minnesota, you sad excuse for what the land of lakes has to offer. So I'm gonna tell you right now, suck me off, Stalin, your bullying will not be tolerated here, and I suggest you keep getting yourself embarrassed and your ass handed to you in Chicago and LA, because if you come here, you'll learn real quick that Minnesota nice is not nearly as nice as you think it is.